I hope you're doing well. Today I'm joined, as you can see, by special guest Steve. Steve, good to see you, pal. How you been?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good, Just like a lot of the other people, I've been getting a lot more excited about this set. I didn't know how hard I was going to go into it. I got lucky enough to be a tester of it, and now all of a sudden I have already around $5,000 ready to put into
Let's
this.
go.
So that's a little idea of how exciting these cards are, guys.
Yes, that's awesome. I love that because that actually does really show something to probably anyone who will watch this, that somebody who has enjoyed them, who's played with them, who's seen a bit of the synergies and the possibilities, you're actually financially putting some money where your mouth is. I didn't get to play test with them at all. In a nutshell, if I gave you like 10 or 15 seconds to just say, like, what do you think, what is the power creep, or how important are these, or what's the big deal with these cards? Like, what would you say about that?
Yeah, they've a little of this, so I'll be able to talk about it, which is nice because we did have to sign some
Oh,
NDAs. So I
I
have to
see.
be a little bit careful,
Okay.
guys. But the game is going to change. One things I think is very well known: force field is no more. No more force field. No more force field taunts. And we already saw a 3-cost card that had a lot of attack in the video the other day. I don't know if you saw that one or if
Yes.
you caught it in the video. So that's just a taste of the firepower that is coming out here, guys. It's good to see you, Jim. That the game is going to change a lot. Matches are going to be a lot more fast paced. You're not going to see as much fatigue. It's going to be hard to build teams that can survive the amount of damage and the amount of growth that is out there.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about some of the new abilities like Pain Forge, your
Yes.
guys can get a lot more attack if you use that right. Bloodline Tributes can push people up. I mean, think about it. That guy has 5 attack for 3. If
Mhm.
you've got Bloodline Tribute Dwarfs on him, and there's a chance he can get enraged, I mean, you have a guy with 3 swinging over 10.
Yes, it's crazy. And piercing too.
It is. It's wild.
Yeah.
And he pierces, and he attacks from anywhere. So you
And
hide
he-
him anywhere on your team.
And bloodlust.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Now those burning drawbacks are interesting because
Yeah.
they've actually turned some of the things that turned us off from using these cards that could burn your own team into making you want to use them with combos like Pain Forge or monsters with Pain Forge.
Yes.
So it's a really, really different dynamic to the game. And also, unlike, the current modern set, right? Rebellion came out. It's cool. It has its dual summoners, but it was kind of expensive. If I wanted to skip it, I could play a max level set from the last one for almost nothing, right? It was like a couple $100 for Chaos.
Yep.
And I could still be competitive,
Yeah.
right? I could maybe pick out a couple Rebellion cards to help that, but I could still play in Modern, still be competitive, still earn my rewards, earn my glint, earn my cards. If you don't have some of these new cards, there's going to be some teams come out that you're going to go, what just happened to me? And it's going to be quite interesting, I think, to how much this is really going to change things.
That's awesome. I think you're right. And I think even without, violating NDAs and getting into some deeper waters, we could say we can affirm what you just said in terms of the impact and the speed of the battles, because we've heard that actually a few times now from Blaze KOS himself. But then also, it almost goes without saying when you look at a card like that for 3 mana to be able to drop what that's doing. And we pointed to it, but I think we a little bit scratched the surface with Blaze Beard here, because if you started to then add to that, you alluded to the Bloodline Dominion racial trait, but that would give him Void, which would make him, main tank worthy, really, with the 8 armor and the 7 shield. With a Void, he's suddenly a main tank. Not a free, yes, he has charging. He doesn't need. You don't need to put him in the front line, but with a Void, because he's a dwarf, if you had the right dwarf summoner, then suddenly he has so much functionality for 3 mana. And I think this is that's one example. But then I actually was thinking about this card. I saw this card and it made me rush out and buy a Max Nidhogger, because throwing blast on him or throwing 2 extra speed with execute on this kit is kind of bananas. And so I literally went out and spent, bought 4 other Nidhoggers so I could get my Nidhogger all the way to max level 4 because of cards like this. And I think this is all one example of a card, but I actually think we saw in the town hall, which was influencer based, there was at least 2 or 3 or 4 other cards. There was at least 2 other cards that I thought were genuinely really, really powerful. There was one Protect Reach monster that was really synergistic. There was a 2-mana magic monster. I forget the details exactly, but some of these cards are low mana, high performance, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah. Like the one they shared there, it was a 2 mana, 2 magic, 8 life, magic reflecting sniper.
That's right.
Which is, I mean, there's just not cards like that were in the previous set. And the other thing that you brought up is really the synergy that's coming to the game. Mm-hmm. So you're getting a lot of these cards that are meant to play together, work together. There's a lot more cards coming that can buff the other monsters around them and make them stronger with good utility. Mm-hmm. So you're having just this change to the game where there's just these team lineups where you're going to go through the buff phase and you're going to go, wow, that changed a lot. And then after that, you're going to see some of the people hurt themselves and their guys just get stronger and stronger and stronger. And, even if you've got a shield, if somebody's swinging 10s, multiple characters on their team are swinging 6s and 7s, you're just going to get melted through anyways, even taking half damage, even having armor. Yeah. So it's been quite interesting to play this new set, and just like, I don't know how many times I was playing against some of the other testers and I'm just like, that was wild. I thought I played a team that could survive and I just died.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
it's definitely different.
Does that give you any sense? Like, I feel like the tone of what we're saying might be heard as, well, you're telling me all the old cards are useless. And I think the short answer is no, because the for instance, Bloodline Dominion and how that synergizes. And guys, hear me, I have never play tested this, but I think that alone tells me that actually it's going to activate some old cards that maybe you would have been not even thinking about. Does that feel true, Steve?
Yeah, because everything that these cards bring into the game that adds to their same race, mm-hmm. adds to the old cards that are in that race. They already gave us that hint. If you didn't have those cards, if you don't have the old dwarfs, if you don't have the old elves, if you don't have those things, then you're going to be missing key pieces of teams.
Yep.
And you're not going to fully understand what those teams can do if you don't have those other cards. And that's one of the big things that a lot of people are gonna miss out on if they skip Rebellion and they just straight go into this set. You're going to be missing a couple of the dwarfs or a couple of the gnomes or a couple of the elves.
Yes.
To put together some really competitive teams.
Yes.
If you look at like the 2-drops of Rebellion, I think most of them are a racial dominion of the new set.
Is that right?
And they were interesting little no attack monsters. I believe a weapons trainer was already shared that had 2 attack types on it.
Yes, that's right.
So you're talking about cards that now can be weapons trained to even a higher degree, mm-hmm. and a lot of them are races that play into the other sets.
Interesting.
So. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the red card is I know one of them's a gnome, if not 2 of them.
This looks gnomey. I don't really know though. This one looks gnomey. I don't know which ones are which. I know that there was a release on Discord in the Splinterlands Discord channel that showed the gnomes, and I might have it on my X, but I want to see all of them broken down. I've been really active on X lately, so I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I posted saying, can somebody tell me the different, like the full visual breakdown of all of them? And I got a comment from Blaze as well as somebody else. I'd love to see a complete list of all the gnomes, orcs, dwarves, etc. And then this, I did see a comment Discord channel from Blaze, and this I think shows the gnomes. Come on, hurry up, Discord. No, it's Gonzo. Oh no, here, see, check it out. So Conclave Arcana Summoners will allow you to
oh yeah, see, it's both of those two cards right there.
Yeah. So Nimble
so now
Duke
think about
Dagon.
them on the board, possibly with 2 to 3 attacks.
That's crazy.
And with their already cool little abilities that help the team, you know.
Yeah.
And then to boot we do know the gnome summoner would give them both Pain Forge. And you know, they're not too lacking in HP. I guess the one with 6 is a little bit lower. Nimblebrook there, he's already got that shield. So could he attack 4 times on a turn? Well, it's possible, right? So
crazy combinations coming. I'm super excited for it all. And one of the reasons that I did reach out to you this week, Steve, was to talk obviously Conclave. And there's so many, like, I think pathways we could go down. I did watch your video recently, and guys, you should go check it out. Steve did a great video talking about, I would kind of say it was like, you know, how do we think through finding our way to the most affordable max set? And Steve looked at, you know, what if you buy regular packs? What if you buy some alchemy packs? What if you buy some legendary packs? Like what's the pathway there? And how would it break out math wise to how the DC investment you're going to be looking at? Steve, I think I recall, and that got me going, like, okay, what am I going to do? Because I really think this is a unique set. I think this is very valuable, very significant, and just genuinely exciting. And we saw what Rebellion was and how it held value. And I do think we can, every situation and moment is different, but I think Rebellion is probably a good marker for what Conclave is going to be and will be in the sense of value stability, because it's got the same approach in terms of pack burning. It's got the same sort of limited number in total probable or total possible packs that could be printed or sold. And then it's got all this new utility with the black foils and the black arcanes and the arcane this or whatever they're called. So I'm uniquely excited, and I've obviously liked the game forever. So that started the conversation. Steve, I would love to hear a couple minutes conversation from you. I told you before we went live, I'm probably, you know, right now I've been going hard, guys. If you don't know, if you haven't seen, if you don't follow me on X, you wouldn't maybe know, but I'm backing up the truck to get some liquid DEC here. I got 3 million in liquid. I also have been going hard on SPS. Look at this number. Jim's in the chat, and he and I were hanging out last week. And by the way, Jim, you got to get going again. I had 2 people reach out to me this week and were like, "Hey, get Jim back on. Let's hear what he has to say about Splinterlands." And he and I do meet up as often as we can. So I would love that, Jim, if you want to come out. But I'm going hard here, Steve. I doubled my SPS pretty much in the last let's see, week or so. So saying all that, I would really love to hear some thoughts from you, Steve, about, I don't think I have the budget to go maybe that full set. And I know what you know about the starter packs versus the regulars. Like, what do you kind of maybe say to somebody who is not going to have 7 or 10 million DEC to go hard and get like the full max everything? What do you think the path is for maybe somebody more in that $3,000, $4,000 range?
Yeah. If you're okay, so if you look at the 2 promo cards, this is kind of the interesting thing. If you're comfortable not having those because you just don't have the money to go into the pre-sale, to go in with the 4,600 to get them, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get those cards. They're only coming out in the pre-sale. There's not a lot of people who I think are going into this pre-sale and going to have a lot of extras to put on the market. Even the group I'm talking to, most people are just putting those cards at max level. So that's their cards, right? They're going to have them. They're going to have 1 copy. They're going to play with them. Yeah. They're very interesting cards. You have to remember they're every single race. So yes. Every single combo you could think of, they can be. They don't look as strong as they are. I'm sure when you first look at those cards, you think, I could skip these. I could not have them. And then you're going to see times where that big epic, big card comes out, and it starts off at 222, and all of a sudden it's 555, and it's 555 with blast. So you're gonna go, what the heck? That's not what that card looked like it did. So, and the other card can do some similar things to help that along, because there is a lot more inspire, there is a lot more racial, bonuses. There's Pain Forge. There's all these different ways that those numbers on him can get even bigger.
Yeah.
So that's a card that looks maybe underwhelming, but it had to be that underwhelming for how powerful it can become. Like if those started at 3s, maybe that would look okay as a regular card, but then when it became 7s in the game, you'd be like, that's broken. So this is how it ended up at 2s. So it's stronger than people think. So if you can't pull off, it is a lot. There's definitely a budget way to look at this. Okay, we've never had starter packs before. The all of the Racial Dominion regular summoners are rare cards. They're going to be cheaper than normal for summoners because of starter packs. If you only have a couple $1,000s, you could get a couple thousand packs. That get close to getting you all the common cards and all the rare cards that you need.
Yes.
And then you would have to buy your epics and legendaries that you want and you need. Now, if you do that, you're going to have a harder time getting airdrops because your cards aren't going to pull the same kind of, points.
Yes.
For staking them. You're always going to be chasing those legendaries and epics. You're going to have to have them, and those are going to be interesting. There's a couple theories to this. Should I just skip the pre-sale, maybe not have those cards, or pay the super premium for the people who are going to sell them, who got it? Because do alchemy packs, do black foils combined with starter packs maybe push down the market on these cards? And this is a theory that some people have. If I'm a Matt and I'm trying to get a gold foil set, and I went and I fixed this because I messed it up on my sheet. To get the 60 gold foil cards, legendary cards that you need to have a max gold foil set, you're still looking at buying like 3,000 alchemy packs.
Wow.
To get there.
And the alchemies are $12 or 24. I forget now.
They're 12. Oh. So it's a big spend. That's 36 million DEC.
Yeah.
So, but there's some guys that make moves like that. And I'll admit, maybe if you didn't want to just open them, you could go down to like 2,500. There's a lot of flipping. There's a lot of regular cards that you can go and sell. You can go then buy stuff off the market. But if you wanted to open close to the 60 gold foil legendary cards that you need, if you bought 3,000 alchemy packs, you'd theoretically, I did the math on this morning, you'd get, let's see, let me make sure I'm on my alchemy part of my spreadsheet here. For 36 million DEC, which is just wild.
Yeah, insane. The quick note, I heard Paul Taylor's in the audience, and he was telling me that if all of those, the pre-sale got bought, we're talking 4 billion DEC, which is like 4/5 of all DEC that's currently in existence. This could get crazy, guys. This is crazy stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, we were looking at the rich list. We were looking at what people have. It's crazier than what he just said. There is honestly liquid, from what we can see in the top 200 accounts, only around 2 billion DEC.
Wow.
And this pre-sale could pick up, could need, us to burn. Like we were doing the math yesterday. We were playing around with some ideas because this is the thing. This is like skipping topics, but
yeah,
SPS could go on quite a wild ride.
I know, man.
Because a lot of if you go and look, there isn't a lot of people holding liquid SPS either. The big accounts, like Matt says that he's going to go hard in this. Go look, all his 17 million SPS is staked. Go look at how much DEC he has in his account. Now he could be hiding it on a different account, but the mood from like some of the bigger accounters is they're just going to buy credits, and then they're going to buy the stuff because DEC's at peg now. It's easier to buy credits. It's the easiest way to get large amounts of money into the game. If you want to bring in $40,000 through Coinbase, it might get held on hold. You got to somehow get it into the game. I mean, it's annoying.
That's good,
right?
Man. I never thought about that. Good, thank you.
Yeah, so these big accounts, it looks like they're just going to come in with big USDC or big credit card purchases straight into credits, and the team is going to have to get that DEC to send to the DAO. And they're going to have to buy and burn SPS at massive amounts if this pre-sale goes big.
Steve, we need to slow down on that point. That is so important, and I don't know if everybody really knows that when people buy credits, Steve just made a good point for why it would be easier for big money to grab credits. And there's a lot of reasons you gave in there. I won't revisit all of them. But if you're right about that, that translates to people giving you fiat currency to the team to acquire credits. They spend the credits in the game to buy packs or whatever else, and then the team has to close the deal on the back end by either supplying the DEC to finalize that trade, sending DEC to the DAO for the pack purchase, or sending it to people if they're buying cards off the market or whatever. But that is how a credit closes. That's how a credit token gets closed out, and it gets deleted. And now there's DEC on, but that means that the team may have to buy boatloads of DEC. If you said this, Steve, if the conclave sale goes well.
Yeah, it is basically what could happen. And I know, like, who was it that was with Bojangles? I think it was Azarcon the other day. He said he needs 3 max sets. He's looking at bringing $40,000 into the game. He's just going to do credits. And he that was his stance. Now, the math here, this is a smaller set. I think you can get away a little bit cheaper than $10,000 for a max set, but it's only a little bit, and it's only because there's less common cards this time. There's only 24 commons. Chaos had 29. That's a big difference in needing a bulk amount of extra cards. So it'll be interesting to see, but there's not a ton of SPS. Yeah, the thing is, he doesn't have 5 million liquid SPS according to the rich list. So that would mean if he wants to burn 5 million SPS, he has to buy it first.
Wow. Crazy.
Now, it's possible he has 17 million staked. It's possible he's unstaking it, and he pulled it off perfectly so that 17 is going to unstake. But I believe SPS, does it unstake over, do you remember?
4 weeks. 4 weeks for your full bag.
Yeah, so even if you did 17 million over 4 weeks, you'd only get a quarter of that. He still wouldn't quite get 5. He'd only get like 3 and change. So I'll be checking the rich list in the next couple of days. I'll be seeing if it changes. I know that, our tracking tools are not perfect. But the point is, people to burn the SPS, people have to get it. So it's going to be interesting. Because the other thing because when you go and look at the rich list, you have to look at the two lists, right? They have the staked list and then they have the total list. Mm-hmm. So if your numbers are matching, you're not sitting on any liquid. It's like me, I have 860,000 SPS, but I only have 18,000 SPS liquid.
Is it staked SPS and what's the other one? Total SPS or SPS?
Yeah, it's SPS and then staked SPS. You got to look at them side by side, right? So like Brave Tofu has 51 million staked SPS, yeah. And then where is he on total?
Brave. I don't see him, but I might have scrolled by him already. Maybe he's all staked up.
Yeah. Okay. So this even it does it better, right? So who has liquid SPS in the hundreds of millions? Nobody really.
Nobody. The DAO. That's it.
Are in the millions even. Yeah. The DAOs. Who's the first account there? That Crowboy 145. He does have 8 million, right?
Snowboy, yeah. Snow 883.
Or no boy.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, so he's
yeah.
bag. And then after that, 2 million. There's no Matt's not sitting here with 5, not on any account that we can see.
That's right. Wow.
So,
Steve.
if they had to buy it, that would be pretty wild. And then you can go to the DEC one, and there's not a lot of big DEC accounts. I was wild because I have my money and one other person because we're doing a group buy, and I think I was like number 15 or 16 on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm 17 with 9 million. That's only enough for 2 people going into the pre-sale at max promo level.
Wow.
And then when you get to the top, there's like DAO accounts. There's a couple guys sitting on a decent amount. Brave Tofu. I know I'm working with some group sale people.
Mm-hmm.
They're representing. They want to go into this with around 90 million DEC. They're not on this list. They need to get their DEC. Everybody is telling me, like, it's funny because I'm talking to these guys who we're going in on, and they're like, yeah, I'm working on getting my DEC now. I'm moving stuff around. I'm working on buying it. I'm working on buying it.
Are you trying
and they're all working on buying it up to tomorrow, and the day after to try to get ready for this pre-sale in a couple days.
Are you trying to leverage this opportunity into a place of like a Steve card in the game?
No, I'm joining in. AJ Brockman and EcoStant.
Yep.
They're doing a group buy. They're trying to get a card design to, further have like free promotion for one of their projects. Since they're buddies of mine, I'm taking my group. We're going in with them.
That's cool.
We are trying to get a card design, but it won't be for me. It'll be for one of the, it'd be for one of those teams, kind of.
That's cool.
So,
and what are they doing with promos? And are they looking for, like, for instance, me with maybe another 4 million to come in, or is it kind of a closed door thing?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to come in, you could come in. They're not closing it up. They're doing kind of what I did. If you come in, you get what you bought, right? So if I come in for a max sale, I get my promo cards, standard, no gold.
Okay.
I get my packs, and then all the extra stuff that they win that can be sold will be sold.
Gotcha.
And DEC will come back to us based on your percentage you put in.
I think
so if it's 100 million.
Yeah.
DEC buy and you put in 4 million, you get 4% of anything that was sold.
That makes a lot of sense. I thought about doing, if I had more friends that were wanting this, I would have run something like this, and that would be in my mind. With Chaos Legion, I did it, and we like juggled all the airdrops, and we like, okay, you're gonna get this many, and it was too much nonsense. It's like, I think, look, your guaranteed rate is this. That's what you get, and now I guess it's different too with the mage wagons. But I think that description is best.
Mage wagons made it easy.
Yeah.
Mage wagons made it really easier. The only thing you have to sell is leaderboard prizes. So the extra cards you get, the any golds or maybe black foils that get pulled on the promos because they're going to be pulling a lot of them. So those would get sold. Because they're a big group, they have buyers set up for those already if they're pulled. The one thing it does, going in as a group and getting cash back, it's the cheapest way to do it.
Yep.
But it takes away your individual chance to pull that promo black foil.
Yeah.
And then that changes your story amazingly, right?
Yes.
If you went in with only 4 million, you were getting 4 copies, you clicked on them and one of them turned black. You're like, oh,
mind blown.
How much is that? How much is that card going to be worth?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't get to do that if you go in these group buys, but you're going to go in, you're going to get all your stuff, you're going to get your promo cards, you're going to get your packs, and you might get a refund back of. I mean, when I did it, I did one for the promo card, the burning event.
Yep.
We all got back more DEC than we put in at the end of the day because of the raffle we won. So we got basically all the cards. That was the one, remember, where you had to put in vouchers that you burned?
Yep.
So we got all the stuff basically just for the vouchers. that we put in. So it wasn't like a complete refund, but it's like 50% back.
Steve, there's so many
60% back.
there's so many things that I want to talk to you about, and I see where I've already been chatting for half an hour. I feel like we probably could talk for hours and not scratch the surface of like what we're both excited about with Conclave, and so much more. I want to ask one more kind of 1 minute question around like you were already gave me a little bit of an answer. You kind of said, I said, look, if I got 3 million, what should I be doing? And you kind of said, look, you pretty much told me I got to really be careful and thoughtful about those promo cards. They are worth more than maybe some people think. And you talked about how there wouldn't be a lot of cards going to the marketplace because people are buying what they need to get those. And they're so good. I think you're right about that. But then the starter packs also are there's a lot of value. What do you think about this? Let me rephrase the question this way. With the commons and the rares in Conclave Arcana, the one way I've been looking at it is 53 cards out of 84 cards within the initial release of Conclave. You're right. You're not getting any epics. You're not getting any gold foils. You're not getting any legendaries, but you're getting 53, like 5/8 of the set. That's a big footprint on what the meta will be moving forward. What do you think about? Part of me says that is so affordable. Maybe that's all I quote unquote need for now. But then I know I'm going to regret not getting those promos. I know I'm not going to regret having some of those legendaries. And we will reveal a legendary here, guys, in a minute after we kind of wrap up this conversation. Actually, I'll reveal a card, not the legendary. I have 2 cards to share with you today. Steve, what about, like, do you hear what I'm saying? Like, there's a tension. I want to save, but I see the value. What do you think I need to hear to make this decision? Do you have any thoughts for me on that?
Well, I can tell you, I only have 5 million DEC to spend, so it's not that much more than you originally. I'm going in on the pre-sale to get the promo cards because I want them. What I'm buying, though, my current plan on my purchase is to buy legendary packs, and standard packs in the pre-sale, and then buy starter packs when the actual set comes out to finish off my collection. Okay. With the note that I'm basically thinking, and I did change it a little bit from my original video. Okay. I lowered it down to buy for I can get 160 legendary and 190 starter packs, and that equals the max promos.
Yes.
If I open 160 legendaries and 190, I should get 185 legendary cards, which is pretty wild because that's more than you need to max every legendary.
Got it.
And you should get, by the percentages, like 8 gold foil legendary cards. You sell those to go get your epics because that's what you're going to be missing in my plan.
Yes.
Because when you go get the starters, you're only getting common and rare. When you buy your legendary packs, you're getting your legendaries. But since you're opening way less packs,
yes,
you are not getting epics.
Gotcha.
Epics are going to be where you're where you're going to have to go to the market. You're going to have to hope those go for sale. But I like this plan. I still think I think people sleep on the legendary packs a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, you're basically saying if I get 100 legendary packs, I get 100 legendary cards, and then I get 900 cards with another, if you're using potions, 1.8% chance to get legendary cards.
Yes.
So, I mean, in the old set, if you bought 1,000 packs, 5,000 cards, 1.8 legendaries, you get like 5. Right? I mean, not 5. That's not right. But it's not a lot, right? Even with potions, 1.6% of 100 packs is 500 cards. Yeah, it is. It's like 5 legendaries in the old way. You buy legendary packs and you open 100. And I know this is a weird comparison, but just to show you how much it changes, you still get those like 4 that you would get from luck, but you get an automatic 100 of them. And so to me, yes, while the real comparison I think should be, what do they cost? 6 times as much? Five
Six,
times as
the
much? No,
legendary
6 times.
6, yeah.
Yeah, so it really, you should be comparing 100 to 600 packs, but still, it takes so much of the RNG of getting your legendary cards out of the pool. And when you get that big amount of legendary cards guaranteed, then you're just working on that percentage for them turning gold foil. So oh yeah, see, in Ghostly, I can tell you that opening 200 legendary packs gets you between 8 and 10 gold foils. I think you're a little low on that if you're using potions, but my numbers had, if you open 160, you're still getting 7.4. So no, I guess he's right, between 8 and 10 if you open another 40. So
that'd be juicy, man. That'd be so fun. It would. The one piece that I get concerned about, and you can't control this, is just that the RNG means that you could open. That's a small enough number that it's a little questionable whether you can count on the math. You know what I mean? Like if you open 20,000 packs, this number is really going to work out. If you open 200 packs, it's a little bit up in the air whether or not that's going to genuinely be what you end up pulling in. Don't you think?
Well, not exactly, because you're guaranteed to get the legendary cards, right?
Yes.
What he's basically saying is you open 200 legendary packs, you get 200 legendary cards. With a gold potion, 4% of those should turn gold.
Wouldn't it be 4% of any of the cards within the context of that pack, though?
No, it's 4% of your 200. The way the math would still work.
Okay.
If you get 200 of a card type, you can multiply that by the percentage that should turn gold foil, and you still end up. You know, he's saying 8 on the chalk end. If you get any luck, like any RNG luck, and hit extra, you're gonna get more.
Okay.
Now, could you get 6? Yeah, you could. Could you get 0? I highly doubt it.
Really improbable, right?
I mean, you'd be really unlucky if none of your 200 legendary cards on a 4% chance. Because I mean, I see what you're saying, but 4% of 200, that's a pretty, 200 is a pretty good pull rate against something that's a 4% chance.
So good.
I'd agree with you if it was something that was like a 0.04 or a 0.25, then 200, that's not that many. Right, it's not enough, because if you're guaranteed under 1, you're probably not going to get one. If you're guaranteed 8 of something by the percentages, I mean, are you really not going to get some? I can almost guarantee, because I can tell you this: last time I opened 2,000, Rebellion packs. I got 0 gold foil legendaries.
That seems wild. But you talked about,
but it happened to me.
You talked about that, and and you're opening all when the other big openers were opening too, and maybe that affected it. I want to say 3 things that 2 of which are deeply related. But I do want to say, before I get into it, I want to say, guys, there's 34 people viewing and I think 8 likes. So help us out. Let people know this moment's special, guys. We want as many eyeballs on Splinterlands, on Conclave Arcana, on SPS, on DEC at this moment. It's not just because I want the likes. Of course I do. I want this channel to thrive. But also, I really do believe that there's something special in this moment. And I think the more people who are paying attention to it, the better we all are. And I think it points to a comment from the comment section too. I saw, who was it? It was a little bit earlier. Devin Smith said, I reckon we are actually going to have a whale or 2 enter the economy for the sale also, when we were talking about people bringing in credits or what are they going to do with DEC or SPS. And I think, first of all, Devin's probably right. And my point in really driving this home, I think we need to be active on YouTube. We need to be active on X. We need to be active in comments and in the chat, because there really is there are people paying attention. And I think in particular when moments like the Conclave pre-sale happen, if that thing goes well, I mean, watch out, because for one thing, the sale itself going well will draw eyeballs. But I think the sale going well means something for DEC and SPS, which will draw eyeballs. And then after the pre-sale, when the packs are being opened and black foils are dropping and arcane foil, this is there's like a lightning rod moment, I think. So thanks in advance for dropping a like. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. I am going to show 2 cards here in a minute, but Steve, I wanted to carry this conversation a little bit in a slightly different direction around the conclave conversation by pointing us to some of the costs that we haven't talked about, because we talked about different pack options and we talked about different, what would be best or whatever, and financially the most viable, etc. All that's super helpful. But one piece we didn't really talk on is the black foil or the midnight potions that we know are coming. And the midnight potions will theoretically double your black foil output chance. And the black foils are super important. Understanding the value of a black foil helps us understand the value of the pack of Conclave Arcana. And I think it puts it into perspective whether you want to spend money on starters or regulars or, legendaries or alchemy packs, because black foil is this variable, this question mark that can really nail down the opportunity in front of you. And clearly black foils are super impactful. This is just some of the perks: 20% bonus in the reward rank battles, which is huge. Half the cooldown in survival mode, which is crazy and awesome because I play survival mode and that's where the big SPS payouts are available nowadays. 5x DEC burn, which kind of who cares because I'm not burning the black foil. Collection power is bigger, which means that the conflict contribution is bigger, which is a big deal because that's your airdrop cards later. And then 5x base on production PP on the beta cards in the context of land.
And the big one is their max level cards.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Thank you. And they're max level cards. So in fact, when a pack should only have 5, you pull a black foil. That is, if that's a common card, that's the equivalent of, I think, 38 BCX, or is it 46? It's many BCX to make a max common. It's 22 to make a max rare. It's 10 to make a max epic.
400 for a common.
Yeah,
normal.
But gold foil.
It's 38 gold.
Yeah.
But is black gold? I mean, kind of not. You right? I mean, it's black. It's just special.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Because like if you're a normal collector and you pull one, you weren't going for gold foils. You were going for regular cards. And so all of a sudden it's like, wow, that black foil rare. I don't need 115 copies of this card anymore.
Interesting, dude.
It's done.
I've never really thought about it that way. That's nice, Steve. I'm glad you brought that up. That's really true because a lot of people will look at it that way, won't they?
Yeah, because only a few people are going for max gold decks, right? Mm-hmm. There's a handful of whales at the top that want max gold, and even if they play max gold, the real question is, Matt mentioned he wants a max black set.
Yep.
A complete one for this set. I mean that.
Crazy.
That is going to be the people going for crazy stuff, right? I mean, because if you look at it, if I on my little buy 160 legendary packs, I should be guaranteed that I get 1 black foil card, just 1 on the percentages. If I use midnight potions, I should get 2. Now, am I going to get a black foil legendary card? No, that's not. Like the percentage chances, like under, it's low. It's like a 0.5 or something chance that actually happens. So I mean, it's definitely an interesting wrinkle. One of the things to look out on black foils, if you're a landowner, we could see a run up in what do you call it? The wood and the resources. So if you're somebody who's planning to open a lot of packs and you're planning to use midnight potions, you might want to make a little purchase of each one of those resources.
Yes.
Before it goes up.
Check this out. Check this out, dude. Because we're skirting an issue that I think we need to really put our finger on. We're talking about how it's a doubling of your black foil chance, which means that anybody who's really understands the the game on a deep level, like a brand new player might not get this, but any of us who have been here around for a while should understand how significant these midnight potions are going to be. So that has a conversation piece around like, should I be like how do I handle land, and what you just suggested is super important. Maybe I go buy resources to get myself ready so that I could prepare the enough potions or a lot of potions and then sell them. The potion valuation is a real question mark. That's like I want to place my finger on that, because when we talk about pack values and the opportunities of regular pack for $4 versus legendary pack for $24, one huge difference might be the midnight potions involved in that. If I buy one legendary pack, it's $24 and I have 5 cards in there, I need 5 midnight potions. If I buy $24 worth of regular packs, that's 6 packs, isn't it? Yeah, 6 times 4, that's 6 packs. I need 30 midnight potions. And if I want to double my opportunity of black foil, now is a midnight potion going to be 10 cents? Is it going to be $1? I saw a Bulldog video this morning and he was using AI to kind of figure some prices on that stuff. And you got to figure this out yourself. But based on these perks, I think we're talking significant financial. Black foils are probably somewhere between 2 and 5 times the price of a gold foil max. And that's an important thing that everyone needs to think about for themselves. When you understand these perks and that it's a max card, if you compare that to a max gold foil of the same rarity, you will be able to then draw some valuation on that, and then you need to know how you'll begin to understand how important the midnight potions are to you, and then you can say, well, I don't really know if there's going to be supply for, like, if I want to buy 4,000 regular packs or 3,000 regular packs or whatever, I don't know if I'm going to have that many midnight potions even possible. I really think that's going to not be possible. And so I'm saying, to get the maximum output of black foils, it actually might be the best to buy the most financial packs that are available, the most expensive packs that are available, the legendaries, for reasons that you laid out earlier, Steve. Lots of good reasons in there. They give you the legendaries. You're getting them. They're going to be super impactful. We're going to show one in a minute. But also because of the midnight potions and their supply versus demand economic, I actually think that I'll say one more note before I let you speak on that, Steve, if there's any thoughts that are grabbing you about this. Bulldog suggested that if and he used the AI to calculate all this stuff. He said, if the black foil is worth 5 times the value of its gold foil equivalent, and based on max level, like max BCX and all these other bonuses, I actually think that's not unreasonable. If it was worth 5 times a max gold foil, what that would translate to is something like the legendary packs. Every legendary pack you open with midnight potions is going to end up producing something like a $25 or more valuation. And so the price point on them is actually really significant. Like that might mean a 20 cent or more potion price per thing, like 10 to 20 cents per potion price. And that scales rapidly if you're opening thousands of packs. I wonder if you have any thoughts on any of that, if you've begun to wrap your own mind around how your approach will be with midnight potions. I'm thinking of it as I want to go to these more expensive packs if I'm going to buy packs from the pre-sale, because raffle prices, because promo cards, because black foil opportunities, arcane opportunities, and because it'll minimize my midnight potion requirement. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. One of the reasons why I'm going my route is because of the midnight potions. I feel like the midnight potions have a chance to be expensive. If we sell out this pre-sale, if there is a lot of people chasing these black cards, especially the black arcane cards, and they want to open lots of packs with midnight potions, the big thing about it is you have to remember resources just came into the game. People just started to be able to make wood, iron, and stone. Yeah. We don't know the exact of how much wood, iron, and stone go into it, but I can tell you, as somebody who's running 140 plots with decent PP in them, I have a full set of Untamed on my land. I have some beta cards on my land. I'm running pretty good numbers. I'm only netting, since I'm doing research and I'm doing SPS still, I'm only netting like when I do my claim every couple days, maybe net 20,000 resources and increasing, because I have to. I have a thing that produces a bunch of stone. I have to take that stone and sell it to get more wood and iron, so that I can do all my claims and then be done. And sure, my stone goes up by like 20,000, but then I have almost no wood and iron left. Then I let it cook for a little while. I do my grain and all those claims, go sell some of the stone to get wood. That's the way it's kind of working for me.
Yep.
If that's the way it's working for most people, we don't have a lot of extra. Like all of a sudden, if they're like, yeah, a midnight potion is 5,000 of each resource, I'm gonna be like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like a couple weeks worth of my resources that I'm making extra.
Yeah.
So then I have to stop claiming research. I have to stop claiming SPS if I want to make a lot of potions. If you go and look at the trade hub, the liquidity pools for these things are small. There is not a lot of people providing liquidity. There is not a ton of resources to grab before you're going to start moving the prices on these resources. So it's going to be interesting. They could be nicer to us. There is the fact that we do need to be able to produce these quickly.
Yep.
But they didn't say they're going to make them be able to be produced cheaply.
No.
So it's going to be an interesting little game that we play here when it comes to the midnight potions. But yeah, one of the reasons why I do want to go legendary packs, and I do admit that people are right. Going alchemy packs with midnight potions is your best chance of getting black foil cards.
Yes.
Absolutely. I do feel though going legendary packs with black foil potions is your best chance of getting legendary alchemy potions. For the same dollar spent. If you're somebody with unlimited funds, then alchemy packs with potions, maybe you can tweak that. But I do know when I did my math, if you're just going in at like the 4 million, you get like, I think I have a half of a 0.5% chance of getting a black foil legendary with my buy on legendary packs with that plan. The same buy of alchemy packs, which gets you 383 if you're going for the 4,600,000.
Yep.
You only have a 0.15% chance of getting a black foil legendary when I've done my math. Now my math might not be perfect, but the legendary packs end up being about almost 2 times more chance of getting one. So I am going the route that I'm going, okay, I'm gonna get a guaranteed like 165 legendaries. If I'm lucky, I'll get my 185 that I should get, but I'll definitely get 160 for the legendary packs. I'll probably get in the 90 standard packs another decent amount of legendary cards, and then I will hope that one of those turns black foil.
And that would be crazy.
I'm still not getting there. Even if you get the 185 legendary cards and you do the midnight potion on the percentage, you're only at getting half a card. So that's you're not even getting one. But that's the highest percentage I've seen. If you go alchemy packs at that, you're only at 0.15 instead of the 0.446. And if you go standard packs, you're at 0.046 to get a black foil legendary.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's just because you just get so many more legendary cards with legendary packs.
Yeah.
It totally skews the thing. I mean, like normally I'd say thered be no reason to buy more than say 160, 180 legendaries because that's going to give you a max legendary set.
Yep.
But if you want a legendary arcane, and I mean, basically, if you were somebody who bought 400 legendary packs, my math is saying you should get a legendary arcane, a black foil card.
That'd be crazy.
Like the percentages would work out. Yeah, the percentages would work out where you're supposed to get one.
Look at this. Look at this Black Foil Arcane mint population. Legendaries. There is this saying that there'll be one legendary Black Foil Arcane of every legendary. I think it is.
Yeah, mind you, I said you'd get a black. I meant to say you'll get a Black Foil legendary, not an Arcane Black Foil legendary. Gotcha. That is the next level of luck.
Exactly.
But you have to hit the first one to be able to have it turn the other thing, right?
Yeah.
You got to hit two.
That's right.
Two miracle shots in a row.
Yeah. So, I love it, man. This is so exciting. Hey, and I do think we're only really still scratching the surface, because we didn't really talk about how, you're right. There's this interesting, you got to open the door into a legendary in your pack before it can become a gold foil legendary, and then also before it can become a black foil, or like if you have no legendary, it can't be a legendary anything. And so that's you every time you buy one of those $24 packs, you are going to have that guarantee, which is pretty exciting. I'm starting to be more and more convinced that those legendary packs will sell out. I actually thought they wouldn't originally. I think they will, but that's not even scratching the surface, because we didn't talk about pre-sale raffle. We didn't talk about some of the bonuses. We did talk about promo cards, and of course they look amazing. But the leaderboard of the pre-sale, this is the pre-sale leaderboard, and they get to design a legendary Archon, and they get a max reg foil, gold foil, and black foil copy of that card. This is the first time I think we've done that for a leaderboard. Am I wrong about that, Steve? I think that's the first time.
Well, you always, if you got the top spots, you did get the card that you designed. You did get a max copy of it.
Yes.
Regular and gold foil.
Okay.
You didn't get black foil before, though. So like in the pre-sale group that I was in, where we got a card design, we did get those maxed cards at the end.
Cool.
Even though they sold, I was in one a long time ago with oh gosh, what's his name? He's kind of left the scene now, but
cool, buddy. I'm done.
He did a big pre-sale group. They got it, but they sold it to someone else. Let them design the card, but he kept the ownership of those.
I see.
And so they've always done that. So
question though, Steve, isn't this? Am I mistaken? Isn't this throughout the pre-sale, every DC or credit you spend will earn towards Conclave pre-sale leaderboard? Isn't this a pre-sale leaderboard? Yeah. And then isn't there like a main leaderboard like across the regular sale, or is this the whole?
No. This is it. They only do the pre-sale leaderboard for prizes.
Okay.
So the top 6 will get to design a card. They get a max copy of that card, and they also get one BCX of a gold foil legendary promo card.
Yeah.
Right.
And the raffle,
top 6, and then the other thing down there, you get you get titles, you get all kinds of other stuff, and then the raffle is a very interesting thing. Even if you're going in for a smaller amount, even if you're not going to be in there, they're giving away what do you call it? I mean, look what they're giving away. I mean, if you get lucky, if your card hits.
Yeah. Dude, that's really fun. Gold foil arcane rare promos, black foil rare promo, black foil arcane rare promo, gold foil arcane legendary promo, black foil legendary promo, and black foil arcane legendary promo. That is a crazy. I almost want to talk on this price point, like imagining and stuff, but you know, we got to show these guys a card here. I got 2 cards to show. I'm going to show the comment first. Steve has play tested all this stuff. I have never play tested these things. So I want to hear some of your thoughts too, Steve, in terms of like what you know about maybe these cards. Oh, actually, maybe you can't talk about that from the NDA stuff, but we're going to show a common card here, guys. Like I said earlier, drop the like if you haven't already. Appreciate you for hanging out today. We'll look at the art for, oh no, not the art. This is the fullness of it. That's the max level title Tsunamist. And let me make sure my video is good. I'm going to remove that comment. Bear with me, guys. Master Show Enough said, making me lean towards legendary packs for my buy. And rolling off the block. There we go. Blaze is in the house. Top 6 get a minute 1 of the black foil for the card they get to help design. That's so crazy. That's a really amazing thing, guys. Well done, Splinterlands. But check out the title Tsunamist. 5 mana, water splinter, 4 melee, sneak damage, repair, which she immediately makes me think of like the bigger, tougher sister of what's her called? What's that one that tank heal and the repair on the water? But 7 hit points and 4 speed's a nice fast card, and it's common. That's pretty darn powerful for 5 mana, in my opinion. Steve, thoughts on this one? And the Fury, I didn't even say that.
This is just giving you a little hint towards the way the set works, right? Big hit points, big attack damage. The thing here about this one, really solid speed, a sneak monster. The sneaky thing here is repair. So you have seen a couple cards with protect get shown out there. The one survivability play that is I think remaining without the force field going away is lots of shields, lots of repairs. As a way to kind of protect your team. So this card plays into that meta. And then some of the taunt cards that are out nowadays, that are coming, you're gonna that sneak ability is with taunt. I kind of like it when a sneaker or a sniper gets the Fury.
Yes.
Only because if you're going to sneak lineup and your sneak guy's not going to get to attack who you wanted them to, at least they're going to light up that card that pulled them away.
Exactly.
So, overall, I like the overall design of the card. It's strong. It is a common card, so it's not meant to blow people out of the water, but it is meant to do what it's supposed to do, or if it's not allowed, it's going to hit hard, and that repair is going to be sneaky. So,
absolutely. I think you're right. I really like what you said specifically about how the Fury is very synergistic in terms of the sneak, because of the nature of how you're right. If you're playing sneak, you're thinking, I want to attack my enemy's rear. I want to make them vulnerable. I want to expose where they're usually most weak, because often the back line is where some of the support monsters with fewer hit points, and maybe they're more of a caster than they are a main tank. And so that's what sneak does. It gets around the main tank. Well, if my opponent drops a taunt, that puts a stop on my approach, on my sneak approach, on my attacking, on my effort to attack their back line. But the Fury says, if you do that to me, you probably made yourself a mistake, because that's going to double. Its Fury's doubles the damage output, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And then repair is so nice. It's just like there is quite a bit of protect. We've seen some. I've seen one in the recent Influencer Town Hall. There was I think it was a life monster, but I know there'll be more protect. Yeah. And protect brings armor to everybody, and repair. And then with void armor, like protect is so juicy. And this is a new race that, to my knowledge, Tideborn. So we'll see some sort of future synergy. Not initially with Conclave Arcana, but we will eventually see something with that, I would imagine. But this card looks really, really good. And for 5 mana, I think it's a very strong sneak monster. These are the...
I'm only guessing here, because this isn't something that we've seen play testing, but it could be very interesting if the legendary cards, legendary airdrop summoners, maybe combine some other races into the races. Add them to some synergies, because a lot of extra races are coming into the game who don't quite have anybody to give them that extra oomph at this point with what we've seen.
So this is the title Tsunamis and the breakdown of the different levels. I'm going to pull over the image so we can actually... Oh, I see. I got to stretch it. Let's go. Pardon me, guys. Bear with me for a beat. We go reset. Or is it transform, reset, transform? And there we... Oh. I'm surprised I'm not being... Oh, I guess, what am I doing? It's all there. I was thinking that there was something on the side there. My apologies, guys. So at level 1, we're coming out the gates with 2 damage. I guess the abilities are carried off the edge here. I'm going to find a way here. I think I have the fullness of this. I'm going to leave it like that. So 2 melee damage at level 1, 2 at level 2, 3 all the way up to gold league level. We're in with the 6th level. Oh no, gold is 8 with commons. Still 3 damage output at even gold, and then the highest levels you get that fourth damage output. Pretty juicy stuff. I think this is a powerful card, and I am definitely excited to own that one. Also, I see. I got a legendary that we can look at here. So let's pull that guy up. Anything else to say on Titled Tsunomist there, Steve?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it definitely is a card that, you know, in my mind, it has the ability to just come in and be a sneak monster, but it also has the ability to play into some team aspect stuff.
Devin says for a common, this is a really good comparable to 10E Striker. I was thinking that too with the 10E Striker because of the 5 mana. And 10E, I believe, has 5 damage output and piercing maybe, but still, you know, in that same realm, especially with on this one, you get the repair and the fury, which I would say probably puts it above a 10E, but in that same zone of comparability, which is also great in my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree.
And just to add in, since I think it was cut off, it has sneak automatically. It gets repair at 5.
Thank you.
And it gets fury at 8.
Let's see. Was giving everyone some time. Ghostly says repair is always a valuable ability. The repair alone will keep it up for a while it's with all the health. Yeah, it doesn't actually have intrinsic repair armor, but you know, there's even when with blue you can bring Kalia, who gives that 1 armor, and then suddenly she's repairing. Or you know, and I know Chaos.
And we do have a white blue legendary summoner, right?
Yeah, exactly. So in modern or wild, you'll have the armor options from your summoner, or Archon, I should say. Good to see you guys, Ivan. Good to see you, pal. Thanks for.
I know. I haven't been saying Archon yet either.
And Ghostly said it gets repair at level 5. That's good to know. So level 5, which is for a common, I think that's Silver League level for a common. I think it might be 4. That's Silver League.
It is.
Okay. So that's common. That's a Silver League level. It gets your repair. I would say that to me feels like a must-have at 5. Then I want to see that repair, and it was 3 melee output at that place. So that would be maybe my early reaction.
The other thing you'll see in the level breakdowns, they did a really good job this time of making sure that every level gave it something that seems to make the cards better. And I think they did that pretty good. It either gets an ability, it gets a speed, it gets an HP, it gets another ability, it gets an attack. So it really, you know, one of the things that I think he wanted to make sure of in this set is that you want to take cards to that next level.
Which is so important because, I mean, I know that there's a lot going on in the planning of these things, but that is a pivotal consideration. We want people to go further up and further in. If the card at level 1 has got all the bells and whistles, it's like, what are we, you know, probably I'm not going to spend 400 BCX on the thing if level 1 gives me all the main toys. But if I see that I'm doubling my damage output and I'm getting repair and fury and whatnot as I go deeper, suddenly I want those extra BCX of that card. Should we look at the legendary, Steve?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, guys, we're going to check out a legendary now. Let me know in the comments as you're reacting to this two squad. I would love to see the comments in the comment section and see what you're thinking about this one. This one is a legendary. We see Maka Hemlig and Earth Splinter, 6 hit points, 4 speed, 4 damage from the magic, which is certainly a good amount of magic damage output, and a reasonable mana cost for what I'm seeing these stats are. But then I say this one's pretty juicy as we look at, for instance, opportunity with magic is a great combo. You know, void armor is the only saving grace from Maka. Deflect is super helpful, especially because magic can sometimes kill itself, and 6 hit points is not infinite. But Scavenge is going to bring that 6 hit point probably to 12 or plus by the time you get moving in the game. And the triage is presumably not only going to support this card as its hit points grow, but the rest of the team. So I think there's a lot of synergy in there, and I love this back line. This is like a backline mini tank, 3rd spot, 4th spot. It's going to find its way to the front line with big hit points. Unless Conclave Arcana is just too fast paced, and the 5 bombs and the 10 bombs are dropping in left, right, and center. This one looks strong to me though, and I do think this is a card that I'm going to want to chase down. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a card here, magic with what do you call it? With opportunity is a definitely interesting ability. I like that idea of being able to pop little guys quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The deflection is solid because any magic card is going to run into magic
Mm-hmm.
reflect issues. That also makes this card kind of interesting in magic reflect rule set cards where you might not be building a team expecting magic to come. So it's going to have definitely some times where it has a little extra oomph, in my opinion. And then scavenge and triage can be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So if this card is in a position in the back, other cards are dying, they're trying to get through it, and all of a sudden it's got 9 HP and it's healing itself. If it's getting picked on at all from any kind of sneak monsters, that definitely is interesting. And triage is definitely, it's a really strong ability. And now that backline cleanses can be put into the game, it can be definitely used in a pretty interesting way at times.
Yeah, and it's got. I like how the ability tree works with the opportunity at the gate, and look, 4 damage output at the lowest level. That's a lot of damage for bronzies, hey?
Yeah, but you have to remember too, only 3 HP there.
Fair.
So magic reflect would be a big problem.
Yeah, fair.
Because it doesn't pick up that deflection until level 2.
Yeah. So that's a very strong point. I would think that is a level 2 minimum. It's interesting because the 4 damage output is out the gate, and you could say, like, this is a card where you might say to yourself on a budget, I need at least level 2. Even at like higher league levels, I still think you're really going to suffer without the scavenge and without the extra hit points. But, again, not everybody can afford max level sets. And if you're getting the 4 damage with the deflect and the opportunity, I think I really like that card, even at silver league level. But of course, the kit gets better and better. Like we said, scavenge makes it it's going to grow for sure. And the triage is going to be a real support piece that is obviously and always helpful. Good, strong cards, guys. Let's check out what the chat is thinking about these cards. A lot of rolling off the block. Blaze says a lot of taunt between Rebellion and CA. Fury is huge, worth the chase. Absolutely. That's speaking to the sneak attack monster from earlier. And Ivan is commenting. He says it's looking great, but then he also said no force field. Damn. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really different vibe, and I have not play tested it, but. Steve has. They also talked about it in the recent town hall, the influencer town hall, which if you haven't seen, Ivan, you should go see. I got to be on that. It was a lot of fun, and we did talk about how fast and furious the new meta is going to feel. I haven't play tested it. Steve was talking about that earlier. No force field is a big piece of that. I do think Wild is going to be radically different in this crazy way where. How are some of these insane new cards going to synergize with the old stuff? Bloodline Dominion is a piece of that conversation, but how does Force Field then become this big? Because I do think Force Field obviously would have a huge impact on fighting against some of these cards, and we've got some of those amazing Oceanuses and whatnot out there, or the bear, Artemis Bear.
Yeah, just remember when Force Field became kind of meta. Remember all those cards you didn't play?
That's right.
Because you're just like, oh, are there even cards you didn't level up? Because you're like, I don't want it to get a 5th damage because
that's right.
It's gonna do 1.
That's right.
So the difference here with Force Field kind of being removed from Modern, big hitters are going to be great. Cards that hit strong and fast are going to be key. This card it's in the middle there on speed. It's definitely but still, like, to me, this card is meant to pop little people that are annoying. There are definitely some little annoying people in this set that you will see. And then it's also meant, who's going to triage your team? Some triagers are going away from Chaos Legion. You're not going to have those plays anymore. And a scavenge triage, like I said, it gets kind of interesting. If there's a lot of death and rebirth going on, There's newer cards. You know, there's another resurrect ability that's getting introduced. You know, you're right. This card, you know, could end up having a lot of HP and be healing itself for a lot, and just be this annoying card that you can't get through. If you happen to put it to where it's going to be not the first card hit by a taunter, but maybe the second. Well, I mean by a sneaker, or the second card being targeted by snipers. They're going to have a tough time getting it off the board.
Yeah.
If it's, you know, moved its HP up there upwards to 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. For a lot of reasons, it's a very strong card. Blaze, thanks for sharing that one with me. And check out these two guys. This is what it's going to look like in your reg foil border. I think it looks great, and it's a Minotaur. There was a couple comments in the chat on this. I want to circle back to, but Minotaur it gets my mind going to an old Minotaur who had a reach monster on the green team, who was always kind of underwhelming. And you know, I'm thinking Bloodline Dominions for the future. I'm thinking, you know, probably there's going to be some wise people who are going to find some ways to pick up a couple of these, anything and everything, but probably the cards in particular that we see in Conclave Arcana, like a Minotaur, makes me think, well, we can probably expect a Minotaur summoner at some point in the future. Or, you know, if there's another one that, like the Ulans, maybe, no, we already saw the Ulans. You know what I mean? Like humans, we haven't seen human yet, and Archon, and we know that there are lots of humans. That's the black foil. And here's the, I guess is this the gold foil arcane, or anyways, beautiful border.
That's gold foil.
Yeah. And then actually to finish that thought too, we'll look at the title list. This is the reg foil border.
Look at the black one on that
yeah.
one.
It looks
the
awesome.
card is just completely different.
It looks awesome.
It's gonna be wild. I couldn't imagine putting together a whole black set, and like when you face those people, and their cards are just gonna look incredibly different.
It must have taken, like, this is no joke to go from this visual impact to this. Like, it's almost a bit of a reimagining of the same card. That background is like pretty much entirely different. And I think the team had their work cut out for them, but this is going to be a gigantic success, Conclave Arcana, in part because of what, you know, they've done with these cards. So good job, team. And I feel like maybe those are the main. Oh no, there were some comments I wanted to see from the chat around this conversation. I saw Cold As was saying about the legendary that he's not a giant as well. He's only 9 in mana, that Minotaur, which is great, and he's right. So any giant killer would not be effective against him. And then Devin Smith said Riskal Drath is looking really good with all the fury, because you can apply a taunt, which is great, because Riskal Drath is actually a card that I love, and then also isn't necessarily the most expensive. It's of the summoners probably a little light, to be truthful, in terms of price point. I am pretty excited to see. This is probably a whole other video for a different day. But if you look at the price points on some of the Rebellion summoners, I think when we start better understanding these partnerships, there might be reason to FOMO into some of this stuff, because all of these Rebellion cards are functional within the context of Conclave, and clearly Conclave are powerful. And so yeah, that first card was a Fury card. Oh, interesting. No, I guess you wouldn't want to.
Yeah. Riskal can give a taunt, and there are times where you'll take that 1 damage to your team, to get certain cards off the board. But don't sleep on, guys. No more force field. What does that say? It means a +1 archery summoner, +1 melee, +1 magic summoner, +1 attack, and +1 armor on a team that has armor strike. I mean, swinging hard is not going to be a bad thing anymore. Guys, there are you know, think you just, it's something that maybe we've forgotten. You know, having a team where everyone swings for 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's not going to be impossible, you know. And I'll just tell you, you know, without giving too much away, when I was playing, it was very, very often to see multiple guys on a team swinging for like 11s.
Oh, wow. Guys, and
Yeah.
Steve,
So
this is so much fun, but I can tell my kiddos are about to start warring, and I'm going to have to intervene. So, Steve, I'm going to have to cut her short. But, dude, I think we covered a lot today. We covered my plans. We talked about black foils. We talked about midnight potions. We talked about some cool new reveals. And, Steve, just thank you so much for taking time out in the middle of your day. Appreciate you, pal.
yeah, no problem. It was great to be here. Great to talk with everybody. This is exciting times. It's very interesting times. And guys, the black foil arcane and the black foil chase is going to be real. There's mint numbers on cards. There's cards that the whales are going to want. And, you know, if you're willing to go to a standard pack or an alchemy pack and rip them with potions, you know, the price is on these cards it's hard to even imagine what they're going to be if you get a 1-on-1. So
I fully agree, and I think you're right. And this little guy right here needs some attention. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming to hang out today. And thank you, Steve, in particular. I appreciate you, pal. Guys, go check out Steve's video talking about, what was it called, Steve? The one around your pack plan.
it was the Conclave Arcana pre-sale plan.
Cool.
Video.
It was a great
and
video.
I'm actually going to do an update on it later today, guys, with adding in some info on the midnight potions and fixing my little gold foil thing. So, you know, if you want to wait for the update, that's cool too. Or if you want to check it out right away, go ahead.
Cool. Everybody, thank you so much. Drop the like on the way out. And yeah, and everybody on X, make sure you're posting all of you. And if you find any of these reveals, any of these card reveals that you've seen through your favorite content creators, I want to see them too. At me on those things. I want to find them too. I want to learn about them too. And I want to talk about them. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Have an amazing day. God bless. Bye for now. Oh, happy Easter.
Yes.